Miami.
Who's Amy?
Miami.
Hey, you mean your Amy?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo hookers?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo hunkers?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Hoboken.
Hoboken. Oh, well, Mr. Conductor, I want to go to Hot Town.
Hot Town?
Yes, sir.
That's the last stop.
Last-
All aboard.
All right, sir.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Hey there, Mini-Me. I see you over in chat. Jury Foreman Mini-Me. I figured we'd play some Crime and Punishment tonight. We're starting to get a little bit of a gang together, a little bit of a get-together happening. And what better way to commemorate old friends and new friends than by throwing them all into the mix and having a green judge hate them just like all of us. That's just me babbling at this point. However, you know what isn't babbling is getting into a case, so.
Minimi96 said, hey Tethercat, how's your day?
Thank you for asking me, Mini-Me. My day has actually been relatively tame, and
Greed
I welcome
1914
that.
said, person turquoise waving.
Person turquoise waving to you as well, agreed. Glad to have you aboard. As always, we're going to be playing some cases and asking some requests and passing some judgments. So everyone who's watching currently, everyone who's staying silent in chat, you guys can all hop in. My day was very good. I had a very, very nice and pleasant day, all things considered. I even had samosas for lunch and dinner. So that was interesting. All right. And with that said, hey, how are you guys doing? How are you doing, Mini-Me? How are you doing, Greed? Person turquoise waving. And how are you doing in the rest of the chat? I do hope that we have bailiffs tonight. That would just make everything so swimmingly delicious, would it not? Well, we'll see. Meanwhile, I think we should get into a little bit of the cases. Let's see.
Minimi96 said, doing okay thanks, just relaxing.
That's excellent. Just relaxing is the perfect type of relaxing. That's a Tethercat quote. All right, let's start this game. Everybody. Court is now in session. Your rating will be affected by how much and what kind of information you choose. Let's spin the wheel and see what we get tonight, folks. Welcome aboard to Crime and Punishment, everybody. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of presidential assassination. I'm waiting for chat rat to update. I wonder if chat rat's not updating because I'm sure chat rat will catch up. I've typed.
Minimi96 said starting off strong. Okay.
We are starting off strong. Okay. I'm sure chat rat will catch up with my message unless I've somehow blocked my. You know what? Wouldn't it be funny? Because I always type in the crimes and then that reminds me. Wouldn't it be a very interesting thing if YouTube suddenly stopped making that a chat allowable message within the last, I don't know. The last time we played Crime and Punishment was November 2nd. So let's just think about that. All right, everyone. You can see on screen the crime is presidential assassination. Details of this crime. We're going to look into the demographics. The offender is a 50-year-old black male. The victim was a 38-year-old white Jewish woman. The offender-victim relationship is defined by the crime. So we got a 50-year-old, and he murdered the president. The weapon used physical injury. The victim's brain was blown out with a high-powered rifle. The property damage or loss. Man, why do I get the feeling this is going to put me on a list? Property damage or loss was $59,000, and the excuse given for this crime, the offender said he did it for the publicity. That's unfortunate. Let's look into the offender's criminal record. We're going to take a look at the offender or the adult prior crime types for this 50-year-old man. The offender has also committed white-collar crimes. Prior arrests and convictions, 4 recorded prior arrests, 2 recorded prior convictions. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he's absent without leave. And we always look, oh god, this song, really got to take that out of the mix. And we always look into
Minimi96 said sometimes, I don't blame him.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to look into all of the items. We're going to look at the offender's reputation. And the offender is a stoolie. The juvenile court blotter, let's see what, he's 50 years old now, but surely he must either be squeaky clean or sinfully dirty from his youth. The offender's juvenile offenses include threats to a teacher. Ooh, doesn't like authority, this one. And let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. We're going to take a look at the personal details of this 50-year-old man. He's separated. He is frequently intoxicated, and he is a college scholar. The employment history is that he's a self-employed professional. Courtroom prosecution details for this crime of presidential assassination. The defendant pleaded guilty. He owned up. He did it for the publicity, and he owned up. A mayor of a small town or hamlet, who knows, a mayoral candidate, not even the mayor, just someone who's considering running for office and might drop out at some point, calls this a test case for the judicial system. Thanks, mayoral candidate Mayor McCheese. You dunce. Okay, as we're looking at all elements of this case, let's take a look at the offender's upbringing. The offender had a happy home and was raised in suburbia. And finally, we're going to look at the mental history of this individual. He has an above average IQ. None of this adds up. None of this adds up. Well, let's dive in a little bit deeper and see if we can find out what's going on with the case via the clipboard of justice. Let's review the known facts. In the case of presidential assassination, the property damage or loss was $59,000. The offender-victim relationship is defined by the crime. I hit the wrong button. The victim's brain was blown out with a high-powered rifle. The offender is a 50-year-old man. The victim was a 38-year-old woman. The offender said he did it for the publicity. The offender is AWOL. The offender is a stoolie. The offender has also committed white-collar crimes. Pardon me for the yawn. The offender's juvenile offenses include threats to a teacher. Which really means nothing because that happened over 30 years ago. The defendant has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 1 recorded prior conviction. The defendant pleaded guilty. A mayoral candidate calls this a test case for the system. The offender had a happy home and was raised in suburbia. The offender has an above average IQ. The offender is separated, is frequently intoxicated, is a college scholar, and the offender is a self-employed professional. Well, I hope YouTube doesn't ban me. Even if it does, we're not doing anything wrong. We've had cases like this before, prior to November 2nd. Now it's time for all of us to pass a decision. If you're playing live, please enter in your thoughts on the case as far as sentencing of prison, jail, or probation, as well as a length of time. And if you're playing on the VOD, if you're watching along, just write down your guess on a napkin, and we'll get to that answer very shortly. Well, I don't think jail or probation is going to be part of this individual, and we've already said no to the death penalty because in this game, the house rule is that we never issue the death penalty. Hence, prison. And so the question becomes, how long? If this were a case of murder, it would be probably about 5 to 10 years. If this was an assassination, which is quite the intent, that would be upwards of around 20 to 25 years. This is presidential assassination. That's a big one. So I'm going to guess 35 years minimum. And typically it skews higher as far as past cases. 35 years prison seems to be a baseline. With that said, though, this guy, he's, on the day of the crime, he was AWOL. I don't know. He's been through the system. He's
Minimi 96 said prison 30 plus.
30 plus, absolutely. That's exactly what we're doing there, Mini-Me. Thank you very much, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. I don't know, because he seems like a relatively okay guy, but this, he just snapped. Guy just snapped, took out a president. So, but he has seen time in the prison. 35 is where my baseline is. I'm gonna go 36 years of prison. Just a little extra. He's been in the system. A little bit extra punishment for this guy. All right, everyone. Let's see how we score. Yeah, 32 years, 9 months. Actually, me getting higher probably means less gavels, but we did get a symmetrical duck. Our first case of the night, our first symmetrical duck of the night.
Hello, folks. You know, I've been picking and trying to pick up angels for 40 years or more. I used to just play the imitations, but now I'm going to give you a little of the variations of Casey Jones.
Minimi 96 said yeah.
Yeah,
Minimi 96 said honestly, it was kinda too easy.
I'm going to give you a little of...
I actually agree with that. I fully agree with that. It kind of was too easy. Because you know it's automatically going to be above 30 in prison. And then it's just the details. So, right, let's continue on and see how many gavels we get. Oh, I got 10 gavels.
Tethercat said gavels, 10/judicial IQ, 194.
I think that's the highest our judicial IQ has ever been. And something tells me that if we'd actually gotten as close as we possibly can to a score, it would have been 200, which is most likely the maximum you could get as far as a judicial IQ. So this being the closest we've ever had, we should just cut the stream here. Thanks everyone for showing up. Good night. No, I'm not gonna do that. Could though. We could. Looks like I gotta do something here.
Folks, you know I've been...
There we go. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button on old damn Tucker. Okay. Yeah. Hey, great. 10 gavels. There should be no judge you can't match. Should be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Maybe we should. But with that said, everybody, it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Yikes, no.
Minimi 96 said wait until everyone comes and it actually gets difficult.
Yeah, totally agree. They could have shown up on the presidential assassination and felt really good about patting themselves on the back for being, you know, flush on. But now they're going to get jaywalking and it'll be 75 years of prison and they'll get 1 gavel and they don't know why. All right, crime. So YouTube ate my comment the last time I typed the last case, and I suspect I know why. Let's see if it eats my comment this time.
Tethercat said crime, criminal trespass.
Not allowed it. Okay. There we go, everybody. The crime is criminal trespass. Yeah, you can see in the window there, it says chat disconnected. It's been doing that a lot over the past, oh God, I want to say the past month. But we're going to barrel on through, aren't we? The crime is criminal trespass. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. Actually, let me... Yeah, no one's in chat. Okay, that's good. Details of the crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 65-year-old Hispanic Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. Criminal trespass. The offender-victim relationship. Society is the victim. The weapon used in physical injury was none, and the property damage or loss was none. The excuse given for the crime of criminal trespass is that the offender said the devil made him do it. This 65-year-old guy said that the devil made him criminally trespass. Let's take a look at... Actually, what was that? Yeah, I didn't do it. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to look at adult prior crime types. His prior crime types include robberies. The prior arrests and convictions for the 65-year-old man. He has had 1 arrest, 1 conviction for his robbery. The fugitive status on the day of the crime, that he is on pre-trial release. The offender's reputation is that the offender is also known as the mechanic. Criminal trespass. Doesn't even do anything. He's the mechanic. Is the criminal the Fawns? Is that who did this? The Fawns? Some otherwise normal guy? Just wears a leather jacket and works on cars? Just happens to find himself trespassing one day? Society's the victim. The devil made him do it. Let's take a look at... I'm sure it's the Fawns. Let's take a look at... yeah, that's it. We're not going to look at juvenile court blotter. The guy's 65. Well, let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And by the way, the guy is 65, but he's only on
Minimi 96
robbery.
said watch the answer'll be probation.
Maybe, because he's 65, and consider he becomes an adult around age 20. That's 40 plus years, and he's only committed 1 robbery, which he has served time for. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to go for personal details. The offender is married by common law. The offender sniffs glue and is a junior high school graduate. The employment details of this individual is that this 65-year-old man is a psychological counselor. Criminal trespassing. The courtroom prosecution details. Evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. The state commission investigates you for corruption. And so the question becomes, do we want to see the offender's upbringing or mental history? Honestly, he's 65. He's done criminal trespassing. I can't even. He says the devil made him do it. Maybe we should look at mental history. He said the devil made him do it. He was easily led by his friends. He talks to his computer incessantly. No. The offender talks to his computer incessantly. It's when the computer starts talking back. That's the problem. Isn't that right, chat rat?
Tethercat said right.
Let's take a look at the clipboard of justice and be done with this case. In the crime of criminal trespass, there was no monetary loss. Society is the victim. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 65-year-old man, Catholic male no less, because the devil made him do it. The victims are the state and the people. The offender is on pre-trial release. The offender is also known as the mechanic. Wait, if the offender is on pre-trial release, that means that this robbery, prior crimes include robberies, was recent. He has had 1 recorded prior arrest and 1 recorded prior conviction. Again, recently if he's on pre-trial release. Evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. State Commission investigates you for corruption. The offender talks to his computer incessantly. The offender... Is he Scotty from Star Trek? The offender is married by common law, sniffs glue, and is a junior high school graduate. The offender is a psychological counselor. Is the offender using Eliza from the Commodore 64? Talking to his computer, hoping that the computer will speak back. Alright everyone, let's reach a decision on this one. I know jury foreman Mini-Me was saying lightheartedly that the answer will be probation, but honestly, that's where I'm leaning. Well, yes and no. I was leaning towards probation, but now I'm kind of thinking jail, which is just a little step up from probation. The trespassing is criminal. And that's, I mean, okay, you're really not supposed to be in there. It's not just not being there, it's you're really not supposed to be there. That's what makes it criminal. But then on top of that, he really was waiting pre-trial release for a conviction on a robbery which happened recently. So he might be going down a little bit more of a path than we want him to. So I say for jail, let's put him in for criminal trespassing. I say 6 months. 6 months of jail time.
Minimi96 said, 5 years or less then.
5 years or less than jail? See, it is criminal trespassing, and I want to give him a little bit more than a slap on the wrist, but I can't see justification of 5 years or less. I mean, I'm curious why you'd say 5 years, because that's hefty. By the way, I'm taking Buckley's. That's hefty. I'm not against putting in 60 months or 5 years of jail, or probation for that matter. But I'm just kind of curious what your reasoning is. Ah. Buckley's. Ah. Ugh. I hope I don't catch a cold. I haven't done anything today to warrant catching a cold, and I have a function to attend tomorrow.
Minimi96 said no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Well, we're going to write down your 5 years or less on a napkin, and we'll see how either horribly wrong I am or blissfully wrong I am. Let's take a look. Oh, 6 months, 24 days of jail. So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still kind of curious why you were aiming a little bit higher, but I think my rationale fits. And also, we got us a second symmetrical duck award. So let's play a shortened version of that music, because we don't want to make it so overbearing like we have in the past.
Hello, folks. You know I've been picking and trying to pick up banjos for 40 years or more. I used to just play the imitations, but now I'm going to give you a little of the variations of Casey Jones.
Tethercat said symmetrical duck awards, too.
Alright, that's enough of that. Alright, that's enough of that. Pretty sad that we're starting to get better at this game now. And what that means is we're hearing that symmetrical duck music more. Okay. I only got 9 gavels. Excellent judgment. Ever consider a career on the bench? No. we got our second symmetrical duck award and 9 gavels, and our judicial IQ has gone to 125 because we skipped over that one case and got 1 gavel. All right, let me just type this in.
Tethercat said gavels, 9, judicial IQ, 125.
Fantastic. Congratulations, everyone. Great job. And now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of non-support of dependents. I see a bailiff
Tethercat
just
said
kind of...
crime, non-support of dependents.
I see a bailiff has sent me a nudge, so we may have someone joining us in a short time. The more the merrier. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. Actually, I was going to say we're going to take a look at the demographics, but a wild bailiff has appeared. Welcome aboard, bailiff. How shall I address you tonight?
Call me... Wait, what's the line from a movie? Never mind. I can't remember the movie. Hold on. You're on Twitch, right?
I'm on YouTube, and you can join in on the screen, and you can see inside the streaming channel, and you can see the game.
No, this is Robin. As you can probably tell by now.
There we go. We got Bailiff Robin.
I have the... What do we got? The Rocket Robin Hood image for my...
I see ya. I see ya.
I used Kling AI to animate it.
But the question is, do you have the stream inside the streaming channel?
I've got what looks like the stream in the streaming channel, yes.
You can see me moving around?
Yep.
Great.
Upside down, hanging on the tail.
Yep. I'm gonna pull up your audio a little. Bailiff.
Oh, I can crank mine.
No. Well, okay. You crank yours.
See if I get feedback. Okay. I got a podium mic, but it's right in front of like an arm mic right in front of my monitors, audio monitors. So.
Okay. I've
guilty. Just call them. Oh, wait, they're already guilty. We already know that. I just say the death sentence. I don't even know what is it. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot that this thing has like weird things like their religion and their race have a huge effect on it.
Yeah. We've literally started this case, so you're in a good position. We haven't even gotten into the case yet, so let me give a brief introduction to you.
Hey.
Everyone, this is Bailiff Robin. He has joined us in a previous stream under a previous name, but today he's Bailiff Robin, and we're going to be playing along. So please, everyone, round of applause, and we're going to get into the case. With that said, the crime is non-support of dependents. The details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 36-year-old white Catholic male. The victims were the offender's family. And let's take a look at the offender-victim relationship for this 36-year-old man. The offender-victim relationship is defined by the crime of non-support of dependents. The weapon used in physical injury was none, but the property damage or loss was $1,145. Non-support of dependents. And the excuse given for this crime is that he said he wanted money to bet on the horses. So the guy's 36 years old, and he's basically skipped out on his family with $1,100 to go play the races. He went to go play some Derby Day.
This is the 80s. I'm thinking 36 years was old. You know.
Yeah.
Wow, that's young.
Yeah, he kind of would be. He kind of would be old. He'd be a grandpa back in that 80s. Okay, let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And
wow.
and we're going to look at the adult prior crime types. It says that specific crime type of information is unavailable for this case. Sometimes that's a red flag that the game is going to crash because it can't read data, but sometimes not, so we'll play it by ear. His prior arrests and convictions. He has had one recorded prior arrest and no recorded prior convictions. His fugitive status on the day of the crime. He has no rap sheet. He's got one crime, but we don't know what that is, and he has no rap sheet. So far, he's kind of a squeaky clean wheel. Let's take a look at the offender's reputation. The offender is also known as the mechanic. So, I can just hear you laughing there. I can just hear you laughing.
I should mute my mic.
No, it's great. You continue laughing. It's fantastic. It's really funny. So yeah, we're not going to look at the juvenile court blotter because unless we feel that it's relevant to the case, but to be honest, he's 35. I can't see why any juvenile crimes would play into this specific case of non-support of dependents. Can you think of a reason?
Oh, hold on a second here. Wait. I lost the tab. There it is. Juvenile? No, not really.
Yeah. Then let's not worry about it. And we'll head over to pre-sentence report. We're going to take a look at the personal details of this 35-year-old man. The offender is divorced. He stays as sober as a judge, and he is an expellee from boarding school. His employment history is that he's chronically unemployed. So he took $1,100 from his family, and he's unemployed, and he went to go play the horses.
Yeah, he had no money, so he was trying to earn more money. He probably lost. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, whether he lost or whether he won, the point is he didn't pay his family for supportive dependence, and that's what we're nailing him on. What's up?
Said good point.
Yeah. Courtroom prosecution details. And the defendant was held in contempt of court because of course he was. 60 Minutes demands an interview. Why? We don't know. Do we want to look at the offender's upbringing or the offender's mental history?
I want to see the mental history.
All right, we're going to take a look at the offender's mental history. The offender is psychotic. He considers himself to be invulnerable.
Wow.
They didn't have tasers in the 80s, but I was almost going to ask the court judge, the what do you call that? Was it a bailiff? I guess it is a bailiff. Hey, bailiff Robin, would you consider tasering this individual who is psychotic to see if he is...
Sure.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. Let me do this. Wait. Yeah. All right. That was you tasering him.
Hey, there's a lot of countries that'll do that just for fun during a trial.
And we're in Canada. All right. With that said, let's review the clipboard of justice and take a look at the known facts. And once again, for everyone who's playing along in chat, this is your opportunity, if for some reason chat can successfully connect, which has been off and on all night, for you to pass judgment on this case, as well as a length of sentence. In the crime of non-support of dependents, the property damage or loss was $1,145. The offender-victim relationship is defined by the crime. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 36-year-old white Catholic male. The victims were the offender's family. The offender said he wanted money to bet on the horses. The offender has no rap sheet. The offender is also known as the mechanic. Specific crime type of information is unavailable, but the defendant has had one recorded prior arrest. The defendant was held in contempt of court. 60 Minutes demands an interview. The offender is psychotic. He considers himself invulnerable. The offender is divorced, stays as sober as a judge, is an expellee from a boarding school, and the offender is chronically unemployed. There we go, Bailiff Robin. What are your thoughts on this case?
He's useless to society. Have him shot. Send him to the mines, or what is it?
I'm looking at our three options here: prison, jail, and probation. Getting shot is not on those three, and neither is getting sent to the mines.
Well, in prison they can at least shiv him, but I'm gonna go with probation.
Yes, they can shiv him. You know what? We're gonna put your sending him to the mines on a napkin in case that comes up later. But no, let's go for probation as per your suggestion. And then the question becomes, how long? What length of sentence would you like to throw this guy into probation for?
Yeah, my modern style, 2 years. The game tends to probably be like 5 years or something.
1984.
So
All right.
5.
You're throwing in a baseline estimate of 5 because 1984 years, yes.
I've played this with you before. They're always a little weird.
They are always a little weird. I'm pretty much right with you on the probation. I think that, yeah, I think jailing him would take him out of a system which he is supporting. So I think he needs to be in the system.
Unemployed, so he's not paying taxes, but
yeah, but to take him completely out is difficult.
put him in jail. Now we're paying taxes for him. So,
ooh, that's a good call. You know what? We're saving the taxpayer. You're the first fiscally responsible bailiff we've had in here.
he might get a probation officer that, I mean, it still costs money. It's going to be less. They might actually help him get a job.
See?
The psychotic thing's kind of concerning, but
see, look at you.
Any violent crimes from that, though.
You're on this ball. You are totally on this ball. Fantastic suggestion.
In '84, no one got therapy though, so.
Yeah, I know. let's
Like
gloss
I said,
over that.
ChatGPT is not a bad therapist. The therapists hate. Actually, some therapists like you for that. Others don't.
Yeah, I suppose so. All right. With that said, I fully agree with your assessment of 5 years probation. I think that is a good enough length of time to keep him on the straight and narrow, just like a horse at the races. Let's take a look at how we scored.
Drum roll.
We got our third symmetrical duck award of the night. I got to play the music because that's what we do here. Hold on a moment. Music, go.
Hello, folks. You know, I've been picking and trying to pick up banjos for 40 years or more. I used to just play the imitation, but
still
now
have
I'm
no
going
idea
to
how
do
to
a little
skip
of the
ahead with this
variations
music.
of Casey Jones.
That's great. We got 3 symmetrical duck awards. And you know what? We've only played 3 matches. We're on a record-setting trend here.
Minimi 96 said this is getting too easy now.
Jury Foreman Mini-Me says it's getting too easy, and I fully agree. We're on our 3rd symmetrical duck award. Let's see what our score is. Nine gavels.
Tethercat said symmetrical duck awards, 3. Tethercat said gavels, 9, judicial IQ, 136.
There we are. That's fantastic. So, with that said, Bailiff Robin, that's your, if I recall, that's your first symmetrical duck award, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I know last time I played it with you there was one, but it doesn't mean I was the one who gave it that award.
No, but then this would be your 2nd symmetrical duck award you're present for. But it's great that was basically, that one was all you. Kudos. Bailiff Robin. All right,
Where's
everyone.
my money? Where's my money?
Once again, the most
good OJ.
the most fiscally responsible bailiff we've had on this series. Let's take a look at our next case.
I'm friends with the guy, you know, that's why.
That's totally why. All right, now it's time
He owes
for
me the money because he bet on the wrong horse. I've got to make sure he can still bet.
straight and narrow. Stay on the straight and narrow. All right, let's take a look at our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Actually, I really quickly, I want to message one of the bailiffs who, nudge. Okay, I just sent I sent one of the bailiffs a nudge. Hopefully we can get more people in here. Okay, now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The crime is aiding and abetting a felon.
Tethercat said crime, aiding and abetting a felon.
Fantastic. And now let's take a look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at demographics for the offender victim. The offender is a 43-year-old black male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. Society is the victim. The weapon used in physical injury in this case of aiding and abetting a felon. There was none. And the property damage or loss was also none. The excuse given for this crime. The offender said he was upset at his mother's death, and that's the reason he aided and abetted a felon. Interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have pegged that. What are we looking at here? 43 years old. He's 43. I would have thought, you know, usually, well, the grieving process is different for everyone, I suppose, isn't it? Let's assume that Bailiff Robin is just nodding furiously and go on to offender's criminal record.
I missed a bit because I was putting stickers in the chat channel.
Yes, but putting stickers in the chat channel means nothing. You got to throw them in YouTube. That's where the action's at.
But you can't do that, so.
I know. Here, let me put a sticker in here for you.
I've got
Tethercat said sticker
for my work, so I paid for stuff, so I have a whole bunch of access to extra stuff.
It's funny, in the Discord server right now, there's a whole bunch of stickers. Okay, so we've got this, I want to briefly run back over details of the crime. We got this 43-year-old man, and he basically, he's grieving his mother, and that's the whole reason behind aiding and abetting a felon. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to take a look at adult prior crime types. Once again, specific crime type of information is unavailable. That's a potential red flag for crashing the game, but we're going to play through. The prior arrests and convictions. This 43-year-old man has had 6 recorded prior arrests and 0 recorded prior convictions.
Oh, one of those guys who gets away with everything. Nice.
It does seem that way, yes. The fugitive status on the day of the crime, he was released on his own recognizance. Of course he was, because he had just been committing all these other crimes. And we're going to take a look at the offender's reputation. The offender is a Little League coach. Huh. That's my reaction too. Huh. Like, that, I mean, that's his reputation. That's not his job. That's his reputation. So he seems like a community-minded individual.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of...
Maybe he truly believed in the person he was helping.
I was actually going to say that. That maybe
he didn't know they were a criminal, maybe?
Yeah, he thought he was doing something on the side of justice. Remember, it doesn't say that the crime was aiding and abetting a known felon. It's just simply aiding and abetting a felon. So, interesting. Okay, we're constructing our narrative.
Yeah, here's my keys. Bring it back tomorrow. And then the guy never shows up, but he's the felon. He just robbed a bank, you know.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to take a look at the personal details. This 43-year-old is cohabiting. He drinks a lot of tea. And he is a graduate of the school known as Ski.
Nothing in there is relevant.
I mean, he's a ski
school. I suppose that's important.
Yeah.
A lot of people come out of that who are real shady.
Yes. Let's take a look at his employment history. He's a car salesperson. Yeah, your narrative of the car suddenly has weight and some credence. Let's take a look at the courtroom prosecution details. And the defendant squealed on his accomplices, just outright squealed on them. Just like tires, the prosecutor calls for a strong sentence at a press conference. Oh, we got another bailiff in here. Everyone say hello to Bailiff Stormy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We're in the middle of a case. We're going to be wrapping it up very shortly, so just hold tight, will ya?
I can do that.
Fantastic. All right. The defendant squealed on his accomplices. A prosecutor calls for a strong sentence at a press conference. By the way, Bailiff Stormy, we will be going to the clipboard of justice momentarily, so you can join us at that point.
Okay.
Bailiff Robin, do you care to look at the offender's upbringing or mental history?
I don't feel either relevant, but I'll take a look at their upbringing anyway.
Upbringing it is. The offender's upbringing is that the offender was molested by a parent and was raised in a hippie commune. I don't see how aiding and abetting a felon has anything to do with that, but yeah, hippies be hippies. Okay, with that said, let's review the known facts.
Minimi96 said hello.
Bailiff Story, Jury Foreman Mini-Me is wishing you hello there.
Hi, Mini-Me.
Fantastic. All right, let's take a look at the clipboard of justice. In the crime of aiding and abetting a felon, there was no monetary loss. Society is the victim, and there was no personal injury. The offender is
Society.
Society. The offender is a 43-year-old man. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he was upset at his mother's death. The offender was released on his own recognizance. The offender is a Little League coach. Although specific crime type of information is unavailable, the defendant has had 6 recorded prior arrests with no recorded prior convictions. The defendant squealed on his accomplices. The prosecutor calls for a strong sentence at a press conference. The offender was molested by a parent and was raised in a hippie commune. The offender is cohabiting, drinks a lot of tea, and is a graduate of the school known as Ski. Also, the offender is a car salesperson. With that said, Bailiff Robin, you did the last case, so if you don't mind, I'm going to take control of this case.
Absolutely. This one, I have no idea what to guess.
That's fair enough. So the crime is aiding and abetting a felon, which I think is not a federal crime. We aren't really sure what the crime was. All that we know is that this guy aided and abetted a felon. He did own up to it, and he did squeal on his accomplices, so I think we should be a little bit lenient on the guy. As well, he does have community support because he's a Little League coach. So I'm actually going to suggest that we aiding and abetting a felon. I'm going to suggest jail, but for an extraordinarily limited amount of time. And I'm thinking it's just going to be something like a month. I mean,
shiving.
No shiving, no. Now,
dropping the soap then. Okay.
No. And don't make me issue probation. Stop that. Now, I think I'm going to suggest 1 month, which is extremely light. But, I mean, we don't know what the felony was that he aided and abetted. We just know that he did it, and he's got a relatively good record and clean record, other than the 6 arrests that he's gotten off from. With that said, I'm now going to pass the reins. Bailiff Robin, what are your thoughts? How would you score this case?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, he's a victim of his own childhood upbringing. He still tries to be a decent guy in the community. I don't know, everything just... He's grieving his mother, he's mental anguish, whole bunch of other things. I'm not going to change what you say.
All right. 1 month of jail, which is extremely light. But that's the way things go. Bailiff Stormy, you've just joined us. You saw the clipboard of justice. Do you have any thoughts on this case?
No.
All right.
I think 1 month is actually pretty good.
Now, all 3 of us have played this game before, and all 3 of us know this is wrong, and this is not what we're going to get.
We're
wrong.
Give him jail for a year or something.
5 years probation.
Yeah. 18 years prison. Who knows? Let's go with 1 month of jail and see how wrong we are, shall we, everybody? I don't think we're going to get our 4th symmetrical duck. Let's take a look, though. Yeah, 6 months of jail.
Oh my god, and 4 days. Just the 4. That's kind of
Yeah,
neat.
tacked on the 4. It was actually 7 months of jail, but he let off 28 days for good behavior, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
There was shipping.
What's that?
There was shipping.
Like, yes.
The 6 months and 4 days. Shipping was 4 days.
It kind of was. All right,
I thought it
everyone.
was 6 weeks shipping, 6 to 8 weeks, or 4 to 6 weeks shipping and handling.
Maybe the 4 days is 4 business days. All right, everyone. Let's see how we score and get on to the next case, shall we?
Remember that though? A long time ago, you'd look at a catalog order, it'd be 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks shipping and handling needed, and blah blah blah. Now it's like Amazon, I get it the next day.
Minimi96 said what I tell ya.
Mini-me, jury foreman Mini-me, you were so right. If you take a look in chat, we were getting symmetrical duck awards left, right, and center, and jury foreman Mini-me called it by saying the moment everyone gets in here, it's suddenly the difficulty level is going to spike, and we're not going to have any more symmetrical duck awards. And here we are getting 1 gavel.
Tethercat said gavels, 1, judicial IQ, 111.
And that's why he's jury foreman Mini-me.
I wanted to get kangaroo core.
Yeah, which by the way, we do have a kangaroo court logo should that come up, but I haven't used it. Also, if we get in another bailiff, I'm running out of little bailiff icons, so we may very well, if we get a brand new bailiff in here, have to go with the kangaroo court. This will be our next bailiff should another bailiff arrive. So just be warned, everybody. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, I'll be leaving soon anyway. I wanted to pop in for a walk because I got to go get ready for bouldering and then go walk to the place and climb.
I guess, but I'm not gonna take you out and then put in a new bailiff with your icons. I'll make do with what I have. But until then, let's get on to one last case for Bailiff Robin before he goes bouldering. Which sounds awesome.
It's a pretty decent one.
I wish we could all do bouldering. I got to do curling tomorrow. Does that count?
Yes.
Thanks, Bailiff Stormy. All right, now
I have over the shoulder boulder boulders.
there you go. See, all of us are
I got
bouldering.
big
in it.
enough that, and my body weight's now high enough that I can't pull myself up like I used to. So it's good exercise though. Holy crap.
What do you think about me? I'm a cat hanging from a rope. If I could have climbed up a long time ago, don't you think I would have done that?
Just remember how I'd fly up trees. Okay.
What are you, Robin Hood? Wait a minute. Okay, everyone, it's time for our
Yes.
next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. I just truncated that joke. Never make fun of someone's name, everybody. Kaboom. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of mail fraud.
Mail fraud. I don't think gender
Tethercat
has
said
anything to do
crime,
with it.
mail fraud.
What did you say there, Bailiff Stormy?
25 years.
Yeah, I thought you threw out a bid of probation. That's light. Okay. Yeah, I don't think gender has anything to do with this crime either, but we'll see what it says anyways.
I was just saying the mail fraud as a joke, but
Oh, wom, 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 wom. The demographics for this crime. Stop that. The demographics for this crime. The offender is a 30-year-old Hispanic woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. Society is the victim. And we're going to look at the weapon physical injury. None. Property damage or loss. $21,000. It's a lot of mail fraud. The excuse given for this crime. The offender said the devil made her do it.
Yeah. It's mail fraud. It's a federal case.
Oh,
that's true actually, yeah.
it's mail fraud. It's a federal case. She's not getting probation, kids. All right, let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to take a look at, what am I looking at here? Adult prior crime types. Once again, specific crime type of information is unavailable, and that is a red flag the game's going to crash, but it's been saying that, and we haven't crashed yet. Prior arrests and convictions. Clean. 30-year-old woman is clean as a whistle. Her fugitive status on the day of the crime is that she's wanted by the military police because she's not clean as a whistle.
Exactly where it's going.
So, would the crime be like military mail fraud? Like she's tampering with the U.S. Postal Service at that point on a military level?
Could be
Good question.
top secret, but then it would probably be treason or espionage or something.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
no, yeah, could be espionage if she's not an American citizen.
Yeah. Usually in this part here, fugitive status on the day of the crime, it'll usually say Canada requests extradition. So she's not a foreigner. she's a red-blooded U.S. patriot. Bailiff Stormy, did I nail the accent?
No.
Yay! Let's take a look at the offender's reputation. The offender is sexually aberrant. Well, I don't think we need to look at the juvenile court blotter. So let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. Bailiff Stormy, were you jumping in on anything there?
No, that's background noise.
Okay. The personal details of this 30-year-old woman is that she's recently widowed, she is often drunk, and she is a merit scholar. Her employment history is that she's a white-collar worker, presumably at a post office. The courtroom prosecution details state the jury recommends a stiff sentence. This went to jury. Priests speak out on the defendant's behalf. Is that because she said the devil made her do it?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, do either of you two bailiffs care to see the offender's upbringing or mental history?
The devil made her do it. I'm curious about the mental history.
All right. The offender occasionally has delusions of grandeur. I would assume at the cost of $21,000. And with that said, is everyone good to review the known facts via the clipboard of justice?
Yes.
Sounds good. In the crime of mail fraud, the property damage or loss was $21,000. Society is the victim. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 30-year-old woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said the devil made her do it. The offender is wanted by the military police. The offender is sexually aberrant. Although specific crime type information is unavailable, probably because of that, the defendant has had no recorded prior arrests or convictions. The jury recommends a stiff sentence. Priests speak out on the defendant's behalf. The offender occasionally has delusions of grandeur. The offender is recently widowed, is often drunk, is a merit scholar, and the offender is a white-collar worker. And with all of that information, we're going to head over to Bailiff Stormy. Bailiff Stormy, what are your thoughts on this case?
Well, like I said, it is mail fraud. So it's federal.
Yeah.
Federal, doesn't that mean
I mean,
prison?
typically it means prison, and I've played in the past where it means prison. I don't know if it does or not.
Minimi96 said the devil is Hennessy.
The devil is Hennessy, says Minimi96, and that
I agree.
that reference is lost on me. I actually don't get it, but Bailiff Stormy does, so good on you.
Hennessy's, what type of drink is it? Is it a scotch or I can't remember?
Whiskey?
Yeah, well, I think it is. But...
That's why I don't get it, because this judge stays as sober as a judge. And I actually just don't know anything about drinks.
Beer after the bouldering.
Hey!
I'd be so dehydrated it'll give me a headache for sure.
Yay! Wait. And that reminds me, everyone, hydration check. I'm actually going to...
Cognac. It's cognac.
Hydration check, everybody.
Tethercat said hydration check.
Bailiff Stormy, please continue.
I would say prison, but a lighter sentence than normal.
Okay. All right.
I'd say maybe a year.
All right. So mail fraud for $21,000. It is a federal crime, and you're going to suggest 1 year of prison. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you can defend it if you want, but if not, we'll pass it over to Bailiff Robin.
I'm going to go 2 years.
Yeah.
Simply because the amount of money would probably be $100,000 by now. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not sure what the wanted for military police is. It could be questioning it. It's completely unknown. She has no prior convictions.
Excellent point.
Required to go to freaking Alcoholics Anonymous and some therapy. But yeah, 2 years.
I was going to side with Bailiff Stormy until you mentioned the military police part. And yes, I actually think that 2 years of prison is now quite justified. Bailiff Stormy, are you okay with 2 years of prison, or are you willing to haggle back down to 1?
About 2.5 years.
All right. Bailiff Robin, what are your thoughts?
I can do that.
Okay, we got 2 years and 6 months.
No kidding this time.
Now, we haven't heard it from Jury Foreman Mini-Me. I'm hoping that if we don't hear from Jury Foreman Mini-Me in the next couple of moments, hopefully some back-of-the-napkin estimates can be done and we can offer up honorary awards. But I feel good about 2 years, 6 months of prison for this mail fraud, $21,000. And let's take a look at how we scored. Jail, 3 months, 22 days.
Okay, they can do jail.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, they can do jail. That's a good point.
Minimi96 said I'm all in with you all.
Yeah. And you're also all out with us too, Jury Foreman Mini-Me, because we suck, and now so do you. Sorry to hear that. With that said, let's take a look at how we scored. Yep. 94.
Tethercat said Gavels, 1, Judicial IQ, 94.
And with that said, that's the case of mail fraud. Bailiff Robin, are you going to be taking off and doing some bouldering, are you?
First, I'm going to get some food, then I'm going to go. So I'm going to hang up now.
Yeah.
It's fun playing for a couple cases.
Absolutely. It was great having you aboard, Bailiff Robin. And we look forward to playing with you again in the future.
Yeah, see ya, thanks.
Minimi96 said we all go down
Cheers.
with the ship.
And there goes Bailiff Robin. I guess I can take down that image. Kaboop. And we have Bailiff Stormy with us, and we still have Jury Foreman Mini-Me, as well as anyone else who might be watching in the chat. Remember, this is your opportunity to play along. And there's potential that we could have other bailiffs. The call to action did go out a little earlier. But with that said, Bailiff Stormy, we're looking at our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Oh, Bailiff Robin's gonna regret leaving on this one. The crime is sabotage. Yeah.
I have Beastie Boys. going
Tethercat
through
said
my head.
crime,
We
sabotage.
all have Beastie Boys going through our head now. Because it's awesome. And it's sabotage. And we can't stand it. It's on this planet. We're going to set straight this Watergate. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. We're going to look at demographics. The offender is a 23-year-old black Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. Well, you know what, though? Sabotage is not really a funny crime. I mean, we've made it a funny crime, but it's not really a funny crime. The offender is a 23-year-old black Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender gave no thought to any of the victims. The weapon used physical injury. A glitch was buried in a Pentagon computer. This man is a hacker.
Ooh.
I've never seen that. 23 years old. I've actually never seen that. This is a brand new case for me, and I've been playing this for 40 years. A glitch was buried in a Pentagon computer. I mean, you can't bury a you cannot bury a bug in a Pentagon computer. That's hacking. You'd think that the people who would program this game would know that.
Well, it's sabotage.
Yeah. Ow! Alright. Every time you say that, music plays in my head. Let's take a look at the, I guess, the property damage or loss. And it's $45. It's the weakest case of sabotage anyone has ever seen.
And he's gonna get away with it scot-free.
Quite possibly, yes. Quite possibly. Or he's just shy of it anyway. Jeez. Sorry, I'm just clicking some random buttons. Let's take a look at the excuse given for this crime. The offender said he was upset at his child's death. That's why he buried a glitch, cough, asterisk, into the Pentagon's computer for 45 bucks. This is the stupidest case I think I've seen in a long time. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to look at the adult prior crime types for this 32-year-old hacker.
Brass monkeys. That funky.
Minimi 96 said, did people back in the day had any thinking brains?
I don't know. Bailiff Stormy, you and I were around in 1984. Did we have any thinking brains?
I can say with all confidence, no.
I can also say with no confidence, no. Brass monkey, wow, wow, wow. You funky junkie, wow, wow, wow. Prior arrests and convictions. Our 23-year-old hacker, I can't remember if he's 23 or 32. I'm having a Michael Jordan moment. I can't, it has had 6 recorded prior arrests. You know what? I gotta find out. I think he's 23. Yeah, he's 23.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, okay. He has had 6 recorded prior arrests at age 23. And the fugitive status on the day of the crime for this individual, he's not a fugitive. Okay. I guess he will be after sabotage on a Pentagon computer. I can't see probation for this guy. The offender's reputation. He's also known as Babyface. Okay. Good for him.
Aww.
Now, he is 23, and he's had 6 prior recorded arrests, no convictions. Are you curious to see his juvenile court bladder, and do you think that that might factor into the case?
Actually, I'd like to see his juvenile.
Okay. Going to take a look at his juvenile court bladder. The juvenile's offenses included joyriding. Hey, ladies. Get funky. Da 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 da. Perhaps he was driving to Paul's boutique. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to take a look at the personal details of this 23-year-old man. The offender is honeymooning. Congratulations. He smokes marijuana and he has a correspondence school degree. His employment history is that he's a white-collar worker. The courtroom prosecution details state that the defendant was convicted by a jury. The crime is sabotage. He sabotaged Pentagon computers. The defendant was convicted by a jury. The press was excluded from the courtroom. And now, Bailiff Stormy, are you interested in either seeing the offender's upbringing or the offender's mental history?
No.
No. I'm a little curious about mental history, but honestly, I could do it without. I don't think it's
Well, the thing is he said He did it because of the loss of his child.
Yeah. Yeah.
For that, maybe I'd want to see his mental.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was going to say. So let's take a look at the offender's mental history. The offender has low self-esteem. Oh, don't we all? I'm a cat. Yeah. So let's take a look at the review the known facts in the clipboard of justice. I don't think we're going to score this. I don't think we're going to slap this young man's wrist on this one. In the crime of sabotage, make your Beastie Boy jokes now. The property damage or loss was $45. Oh, I think I saw something happen over on chat. I thought jury foreman Mini-Me was going to pitch in with his thoughts. The offender gave no thought to any victims. A glitch, somehow, mysteriously, miraculously, technologically, a glitch was buried in a computer at the Pentagon. Which, okay. The offender is a 23-year-old man. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he was upset at his child's death. The offender is not a fugitive. The offender is also known as Babyface. Although specific crime type of information is unavailable, the defendant has had 6 recorded prior arrests with 0 recorded prior convictions. In his past, the offender's juvenile offenses included joyriding. The defendant was convicted by a jury on this case of sabotage. The press was excluded from the courtroom. The offender has low self-esteem. The offender is honeymooning, smokes marijuana, and has a correspondence school degree. As well, the offender is a white-collar worker. And with all of that said, Bailiff Stormy, who's gonna go? Should I throw in my thoughts on this case? Should I? Do you want to take... You're going with an opening bid of probation, which for a Pentagon-level crime of sabotage, I don't know what your reasoning is.
Honestly?
Yes.
With the death of his child, I would go lenient on him.
Okay. He was convicted by a jury. However, in your defense, the net cost really was only $45.
One-year probation?
So we give this guy probation. He has to check into a probation officer. And for 1 year, it's just a checkup period for 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll offer in 1 year.
1 year, 6 months?
Yeah, 1 year, 6 months. Now, I'm going to counter this. And I'm going to say that it's sabotage on the Pentagon computers. I'm sorry. I really do want to be lenient.
Federal.
I really want to go 1.5 years of probation. I do want to be on your side on this, but he hacked the Pentagon. So even though he was grieving, even though it was only for $45, he hacked the Pentagon, which granted in 1984 was not a difficult thing. Matthew Broderick did it. I think that I would actually offer up, because Matthew Broderick didn't get 1.5 years of probation. He went away to Sing Sing. I'm going to offer up 5 years of probation, but I am going to be lenient, and I actually going to lower it to 4 years of prison. So we've got 1.5 years of probation and 4 years of prison. Are you ready to haggle?
No, I don't think I'll haggle.
You're sticking with 1 year and 6 months of probation.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. Then let's go prison for 4 years. But we'll put on a napkin that whole 1 year, 6 months of probation thing, because you never know. Maybe this elderly judge from 1984 doesn't know what a computer is. And he truly believes that people can plant glitches.
Yes, totally.
I bet he's like, oh no, he planted a glitch. Next up, what's next? Our commies? This guy has no idea. All right, let's see what the actual number is here. Prison 18 years, 5 months. Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Yep. Yep.
He was heavy-handed.
But I don't think he was. It's sabotage. He was convicted by a jury, and it's at the Pentagon. I think this is a incredibly accurate statement. Don't get me wrong. We are in favor of the defendant, but we are exceptionally light-handed. Crazy, eh? Let's take a look at how we scored. Yeah.
They come in and the judicial IQ goes straight down.
Plummeting.
Tethercat said gavels, 1, judicial IQ, 82.
Yeah, these things happen. These things do happen. I'm going to issue another hydration check. So everyone make sure that you're hydrated well. I'll be back for another case in just a split second.
Tethercat said hydration check. Minimi 96 said like Tethercat said, it's the Pentagon, it's serious to the public.
Absolutely. Absolutely, jury foreman mini-me. Chat was kind of popping in and popping out, and you didn't actually get your number thrown in there, but for your estimate, jury foreman mini-me, were you thinking it was going to be pretty high, like darn near 20 years, or were you more gauging it on the lower end, like Bailiff Stormy and myself, the bleeding heart bastards that we are? I like how Translation Chan translated bleeding heart bastards. Thanks, Translation Chan. You're the goat.
What they translate it to?
Bleeding heart bastards. Just, it nailed it. It doesn't get our names right, but it nails bleeding heart bastards. we know where Translation Chan's at. All right, everyone. And I'm still not seeing any more bailiffs, but once again, the call has been put out to them, and they may appear. So we'll keep at it.
Minimi 96 said I wanted 15, but I didn't want to get into your argument.
Oh, mini-me. You should have put in 15. We would have given you an honorary symmetrical duck award. Well, you would have come close at 18 years. You would have come close. And I probably would have bumped up my number. Okay. Well, good on you, jury foreman mini-me, because that's why you're the jury foreman. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, everybody, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of daytime burglary. By the way,
Tethercat said crime, daytime burglary.
By the way, Bailiff Stormy, we do have potential to get, and no spoilers here perhaps, but we do have potential to get a brand new bailiff in. Now, my question, I'm not going to reveal who that might be because, you know, they may or may not show, but what do you think the possibility, the sheer odds, the sheer limited scale is that the bailiff who appears could possibly have a reactive GIF like yours and mine and everyone else's? Do you think that could happen?
I'm not sure. Honestly,
I don't think so. Knowing this individual, I don't think so. But if it does happen, I'm going to have to react fast. All right. Otherwise, the bailiff will get the kangaroo. Everyone, the crime is daytime burglary. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 56-year-old white Mormon woman. The victim was a 44-year-old Oriental male. 56-year-old woman did daytime burglary. The offender-victim relationship, they were friends. Daytime burglary, they were friends. The physical weapon and physical injury the weapon used, none. Property damage or loss was $300,000. That's a lot of cats, as all of us usually say.
That is, yeah.
That's a lot of cats. How old is this? 56 years old. The excuse given for this crime: she said she needed money for a friend's sex change operation. Well, these things happen.
It honestly was not that friend then.
Yeah, I suppose not. Not that friend. The other friend. Let's look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to hop into adult prior crime types. This 56-year-old woman's prior crimes include traffic offenses. The prior arrests and convictions: she has only had one prior arrest and one prior conviction for traffic offenses. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that the offender has no holds. Now let's take a look at the offender's reputation. This 56-year-old woman is also known as the Doc. Why? We don't know. Perhaps she's a doctor. I guess we're going to find out when we take a look at the pre-sentence report.
Or doctoring books.
Ooh. Or, doctor, doctor, can't you see I'm burning, burning? I'm here all week, everybody. Personal details. This 56-year-old woman is engaged to be married. She drinks cheap wine, and she is a self-taught person. The employment history is that she's an Army corporal. Okay, the crime is daytime burglary. She stole $300,000 from a friend for a different friend's sex change operation. And although she only has one previous crime of traffic offenses she's been convicted from, she is an Army corporal currently. That pretty much sums up where we are right now. Also, she's known as the Doc. The courtroom prosecution details are that the defendant waived a jury trial. The defendant was defended by a legal aid attorney. Now, if we look at the... are you curious, Bailiff Stormy, to look at either the offender's upbringing or the offender's mental history?
Mental history, because they're nuts.
I didn't see it that way, so let's take a look. The offender is nuts. Oh, interesting. I didn't expect that. No, wait, I misread that. That was a typo. The offender is mildly anxious. She bites her fingernails until they bleed. Ew.
She's nuts.
She's nuts. The offender is batty as a bat house. As batty as June Kawamori. Wait, is June Kawamori nuts? She's batty. Let's ask her the next time we play with her, shall we? Yeah, I think that's it. Let's review the clipboard of justice. Remember, everyone who's watching along in chat, this is your opportunity to, provided chat wants to successfully connect, this is your opportunity to pitch in what sentencing you would provide and for what length of time. In the crime of daytime burglary, the property damage or loss was $300,000. The offender and the victim were friends. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 56-year-old woman. The victim was a 44-year-old male. The offender said she needed money for a friend's sex change operation. The offender has no holds. The offender is also known as the Doc. Prior crimes include traffic offenses, and she
Minimi 96 said wait until her bat senses tingle and try to find out who's talking about her.
Jury foreman Minimi. June Kawamori's infamous bat senses. Prior crimes include traffic offenses, of which this offender has had one arrest, which led to a conviction. The defendant waived a jury trial. The defendant was defended by a legal aid attorney. The offender is mildly anxious. She bites her fingernails until they bleed. The offender is engaged to be married. She drinks cheap wine, and she is a self-taught person. As well, the offender is an Army corporal. And with all of that information happening, Bailiff Stormy, would you like to take this, or would you like me to take this one?
Please take it.
All right. In the crime of daytime burglary. Well, I pretty much summed everything up just prior to the end of it all. The only thing we really didn't get into was what the jury said, and she waived a jury trial, and the nervousness. So ultimately, I'm gonna say that for daytime burglary, which is pretty impressive, all things considered, and for $300,000, I am definitely gonna say prison, and I'm gonna offer up. I'm gonna do 3 years. Yeah, I'm gonna do 3 years. So here's my reasoning: is that I would do 5 years of prison. I would suggest 5 years of prison, and for most any other time I wouldn't really lower it. But in this case, her being an Army corporal, I think she could easily pay off the $300,000 with that type of a military position, and she could do it easily. So if you figure $100,000 per year, I would say 3 years of prison. Now, I might be wildly wrong. She is an Army corporal, and perhaps she should be held to a higher standard of account. But at this point, I would like to hear from the rest of you. Jury Foreman Mini-Me, please offer up what you would suggest. And also, Bailiff Stormy, if you're able to, I would like you to speak your mind and offer up a sentence and a length of sentence. All right, Bailiff Stormy is taking a brief moment of absence, and these things do happen. I suggest I assumed as such. She'll be right back with us as soon as she arrives. So we're gonna wait probably another couple of seconds.
Minimi96 said 8 years, just because I'm thinking the opposite of what the game does to us.
Good call, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. We have a bit of 3 years and a bit of 8 years, and I heard that Bailiff Stormy popped back in. So what are your thoughts there, Bailiff Stormy?
I'm going to side with Mini-Me.
Oh, all right. You don't have to explain your reasoning. If you want to, that's fine. But otherwise, we can just hop into straight up 8 years. It is daytime burglary. And yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to haggle. I think that the two of you have reached a good decision. So once again, Jury Foreman Mini-Me, good call. Bailiff Stormy, way to support Jury Foreman Mini-Me. And for the rest of us, let's take a look at how we score. 3 years, 6 months of prison. Well, honestly, I changed my vote because I did side with you guys. I think that you guys were on the right track. So I do not get a symmetrical duck on the back of my napkin. I sided with you guys willingly. Let's see how we scored. We got 4 gobbles. You might be ready to handle traffic court. Try some more cases to improve your score.
Darn it, no kangaroo.
Tethercat said gavels, 4, judicial IQ, 81.
Yep, no kangaroo court, not yet. The night is still young. We're gonna play this until 2026. Let's go any percent. Let's go. Yeah, we can. I was gonna do another hydration check, but it's only been this case since the last one, so I think we can continue on. How are you feeling, Bailiff Stormy? Do you need a break? Are you sticking around for more cases?
I need a break. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's not a problem at all. So you go and take off. Do what you need to do. You can always hang out. You could even
Minimi96 said you guys are the light and I am the dark, vote what you believe is right.
Not even close, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. I truly value your suggestions. I think everyone here in the bailiff's side do as well. Bailiff Stormy, if you wanted to stick around and be in chat and take a break, or if you wanted to take off, that's your prerogative. But I just wanted to thank you for showing up and playing along for as long as you did.
Thank you. I might be hanging around.
All right. Bailiff Stormy might be hanging around. So we've got Bailiff Stormy, and she's kind of on in a holding pattern. With that said, let's continue on, and we'll try and get to our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of false advertising.
Tethercat said crime, false advertising.
All right. With that said, let's take a look at the details of this case. And we're going to go into the demographics. The offender is a 50-year-old black Protestant male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender said that the victims should have been more careful. False advertising. The weapon used physical injury was none. The property damage or loss was none. And the excuse given for this crime of false advertising, the offender said he thought he could get rich. Once again, property damage or loss was none. The defendant was wrong. The defendant was plain old wrong. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to take a look at the... What are we looking at here? What are we gonna pop in for? Adult prior crime types. Those include conspiracies. Ooh. The... Wow. I was not expecting that. Pardon me while I yawn. I'm always yawning, and then I have to do a hydration check. So I'll do it after this case. The prior arrests and convictions for this 50-year-old man. He has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 2 recorded prior convictions. And his fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he's on pre-trial release. The offender's reputation. He's a racist. Nah, that's never good. The court weighs heavily against racists and racism, so boo to him. Let's look at the pre-sentence report, and we're going to look at the personal details. This 50-year-old man is widowed. He smokes hashish, and he is a self-educated citizen. The employment history is that he's a software distributor. The offender's upbringing... Wait, no. I didn't mean to hit that one. Ah, all the buttons are wrong. Ah! Oh no! I have a glitch in my Pentagon computer. The pre-sentence report. And we're going to take a look at the courtroom prosecution details. Dope. The defendant threatens the judge, which is you, the player. The defendant was defended by a private attorney. Look at me, I'm all a kerfuffle. Well, the defendant threatens the judge, us, the player. That's never cool. This crime of false advertising is slowly descending into the depths. Now then, I was going to suggest, do we need to take a look at the offender's upbringing or mental history in this crime of false advertising, where the offender thought he could get rich, but literally nothing happened? Unfortunately, I accidentally selected the offender's upbringing for this 50-year-old man.
Minimi96 said the Pentagon traced where the origin of the glitch is. Run.
Well, Jury Foreman Mini-Me, you might be onto something, because remember, I could not enter in a certain phrase into YouTube at the start of this stream. So, yes. Yes. All right, let's take a look at the offender's upbringing. because of my own idiocy. The offender had divorced parents, and the offender is from the Midwest. Well, that was anticlimactic. The crime is false advertising. I don't think we need to look at the mental history. But if I accidentally press that button and we find out in the clipboard of justice, we'll know. In the crime of false advertising, there was no monetary loss. The offender said that the victims should have been more careful. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 50-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he thought he could get rich. The offender is on pre-trial release. The offender is a racist. Prior crimes include conspiracies, and the defendant has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 2 recorded prior convictions. The defendant threatens the judge, aka you, the player. The defendant was defended by a private attorney. The offender had divorced parents and is from the Midwest. The offender is widowed, smokes hashish, and is a self-educated citizen. As well, the offender is a software distributor. Whew, that's a lot to unpack, everybody. Well now, the crime is false advertising. Whoa, that's a lot to unpack. I don't know. So, false advertising, this could be prison, this could be jail, this could be probation, this is up in the air. I'm struggling because of the absolute vagueness of it. The only real crime is egotism. This guy thought he could get rich and he failed. And he threatened the judge. So, I don't know. I think it could go probation, but he threatened the judge. So we need to incarcerate this guy. I also think it could go prison, but if it's prison, it's a literal slap on the wrist, like 2 months in prison. False advertising, and if it's jail, maybe we should do jail. Just hit the middle ground. Let's do jail. And I'm gonna suggest, I was going to suggest 6 months, but now because he threatened the judge, aka us, the player, I think that we should go for 8 months of jail time. And again, I have no substantive reasoning for literally any of this. This is all up in the air. None of this makes sense. So I'm just throwing a dart blindly at a dartboard, and that's where I think it's going to land. Once again, if anyone in chat has a suggestion, we can run with that. But I think if we don't hear from anyone, we're just going to throw it on the back of a napkin, and we'll run with that. 8 months, everybody. Going once, going twice. I feel like an auctioneer with this gavel. Going once, going twice. Probation, 7 years. Yeah, I don't know. 8 months of jail, heavy-handed, maybe. I had nothing to base the case off of. So let's take a look at the score. You're not ready for this court. You'd be more comfortable on a different bench in Central Park.
Tethercat said gavels, 3, judicial IQ, 78.
Well, these things do happen. Now I'm going to issue a hydration check. So everyone, I hope you got your water ready. Hydration check, everybody.
Tethercat said hydration check.
Just gonna quickly send off a message. Alright. Sorry, I was just doing a little bit of back end stuff there. So, now it's time for our next case. And remember, it is how much. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. In this case, the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of treason.
Tethercat said crime, treason.
And there we go. How's the game gonna play out? We don't know. All we can do is look at the details of this crime. Sorry, I'm just punching the music up a little. Still relatively inaudible. There we go. Okay. The details of this crime of treason. Let's take a look at the demographics. The offender is a 25-year-old white male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship, society is the victim. Weapon used, physical injury, missile-based plans were given to an anti-nuclear group. Well, that's treason if I ever heard it. Missile-based plans were given to an anti-nuclear group. You'll probably hear me mispronounce missile and missile frequently in this case. Not nuclear, just missile and missile. So be prepared. The property damage or loss was $1.6 million in this crime of treason. That's, missile-based plans were given to an anti-nuclear group. Guy's 25 years old. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that, Bailiff Stormy. What were you saying there?
Throw the book at him.
Indeed. $1.6 million. The excuse given for this crime of treason. Oh, he said he didn't do it. And what is it he said he didn't do? He said he didn't deliver missile-based plans to an anti-nuclear group. Sure, pal. Sure. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to take a look at the adult prior crime types for this 25-year-old man. Those include theft, presumably of missile-based secrets. The prior arrests and convictions are 4 recorded prior arrests and 4 recorded prior convictions. This 25-year-old man has seen the inside. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he's an escaped mental patient. Huh. And the offender's reputation. He's known as Lucky. Not today, buddy. Not today. Just want to go back to details of the crime because I really want to emphasize $1.6 million for missile-based plans given to an anti-nuclear group resulting in treason. And he said he didn't do it. Let's look at the pre-sentence report. Sure thing, Lucky. Lucky's personal details are that he is separated, he drinks temperately, and he is a community college student. The employment history is that he's a white-collar worker. The courtroom prosecution details, the probation officer recommends probation. Do ya? Is that where you're going with that, probation officer? That's the line that you're going to draw in the sand? That's where I'm going to have to go and hunt through new resumes for new probation officers? This is where you call it? Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. A radio commentator calls you soft. I don't think so on this one there, Mr. Radio Commentator. Maybe the probation officer wants to be a radio commentator. There's going to be a position open soon. Now then, we can look at the offender's upbringing or mental history. I don't much care for the offender's upbringing. It might be relevant. He is 25 years old and he has had 4 recorded prior convictions. But really, I am definitely curious about his mental history because he is an escaped mental patient. The mental history of this 25-year-old man is that he's shy and he can't look you in the face. Really? I got that. That is literally me. As...
For 1.6 mil?
What's that, Bailiff Stormy?
He's shy. For 1.6 mil.
Yes. Yes. But, and let's just be clear, once again, I am shy and I can't look you in the face, and I resonate with the Happy Harry Hard-On character of Pump Up the Volume, because he was shy and he couldn't look anyone in the face. But if someone were to give me $1.6 million, I would glare them in the eye and thank them and shake their hand. In this case, though, I wouldn't do it for treason or handing over military secrets. Okay. Bailiff Stormy, since you are kind of in and out and in and out, are you curious to see the offender's upbringing?
No,
Okay.
not really.
All right. And since I have you on the line, are you going to be participating in this case, or are you still kind of bowing out and you want me to take this one?
I'm still kind of bowing out.
Okay, no, that's fair. It's fun to have you in as running commentary. Please contribute your jokes and comments as you will, but yes, absolutely take your break as you so need and deserve. With that said, everyone, we're going to review the known facts via the clipboard of justice. In the crime of treason, the property damage or loss was $1.6 million. Society is the I don't think society is the victim in this one, but society is the victim. Missile-based plans were given to an anti-nuclear group. The offender is a 25-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he didn't do it. The offender is an escaped mental patient. The offender is also known as lucky, and that probably correlates to the fact that his prior crimes include theft, and he has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 4 recorded prior convictions. People just call him lucky to make fun of him. The probation officer recommends probation. Inexplicably. A radio commentator calls you soft. The offender is shy, and he can't look you in the face. Man. The offender is separated, drinks temperately, and is a community college student. As well, the offender is a white-collar worker. And with that said, everyone who is watching along in chat, please, this is your opportunity to enter in what you suspect would be a sentence and a length of sentence. I can easily say that the probation officer recommends probation, so we're going to offer up probation for 1 month. Or I'm getting me a new probation officer. Everyone, big welcome to Probation Officer Kangaroo Court. Welcome, new probation officer. It's great to have you on board. Jeez. Probation officer recommends probation. Okay. This guy's going to prison. $1.6 million. Like, yeah, this guy's going to prison. It's treason. So the question becomes, is it going to be 10, 20, or 30 years? He sold nuclear plans, or he sold missile-based plans to an anti-nuclear group. Even ignoring the $1.6 million, I'd say that would be 20 years. However, he got $1.6 million out of it. I am really keen on 30 years. With that said, did he do anything at all which showed that he had empathy? And I do not think he did. I cannot recall a single thing in this case where he either said sorry or someone spoke on his behalf, other than the cocaine-laden probation officer, which I'm going to be replacing after this case.
He said he didn't do it.
He did claim innocence. Good call. Good call, Bailiff Stormy. But he claims innocence, and perhaps he is correct. With that said, he is being tried for the crime of treason, meaning that it probably...
Minimi 96 said so, like between 25-30 plus years, or not.
Yeah, and I'm really thinking it's definitely between that 25 to 30. He claims he didn't do it. He claims innocence, but obviously police or even federal employees such as the FBI or CIA, they caught him. They caught him. And he's being convicted. So I'm comfortable with this 30 years. Lucky continues his lucky streak. The question is now, with us scoring, are we lucky enough to get our 4th Symmetrical Duck Award on the night? Let's take a look. 23 years, 9 months. The judge was a little more lenient than us, and I'm comfortable with how we scored, and I'm also comfortable with how the judge scored. As long as this guy got over 20 years, I'm cool with all of that. Well, we didn't get our Symmetrical Duck Award, but let's see how he scored. Splendid work. You have a keen eye for justice.
We got a B.
Tethercat said gavels, 8,
85?
judicial IQ, 85.
Did you say we've got a B, as in like a B score of A? And
Yep.
we got a B. Well, congratulations on our B, everyone.
Tethercat said we got a B.
Yay! Yay! I'll take it. All right, we have a keen eye for justice. Good job, everyone. Good job, team. And now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. You know what? Let's take a quick hydration check. I know we just had one, but my reasoning is that we're really getting close to the top of the hour, and I just want to start a brand new case for anyone new joining in, whether that's people joining in on chat or people who might be joining us.
Minimi 96 said my mom would be disappointed if I got that grade.
Well then, Mini-Me, I suggest you don't get that grade, or you deal with the disappointment of your mother. Man, that was harsh. Hydration check, everybody.
Tethercat said hydration check.
I'm sure your mother will love you nonetheless. You know, here's the thing, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. If you got 8 gavels and your mom was disappointed, I suspect she'd be disappointed at everything. You could come in 2nd place in a marathon, and your mom would probably be disappointed. I mean, 8 gavels is great.
No, 2nd place is 1st place, you loser.
Yeah. So I think that, and it's not like there's any realistic ranking system that has an S rank or an EX rank. So B is pretty damn good. I think your mom needs to come on this stream. Your mom, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. You know, we have an opening for a probation officer.
Minimi 96 said no, Asian moms are hard to satisfy.
I guess, but we do have an opening for a probation officer, so float that by your mom, Jury Foreman Mini-Me, and see if she wants to. Wow, Asian moms are hard to satisfy. Well, just do your best, and hopefully she's just proud of you, just for you being you. I can tell you this much. Jury Foreman Mini-Me, I say with absolute sincerity, and I truly do mean this. I am proud of you. You've been in this chat for as long as I can remember. You've been a strong participant. You've been snap on most of these cases, hence the promotion to Jury Foreman. I find you to be an exceptionally intelligent and hilarious person in the community, and I deeply respect you. And I once again, I truly, sincerely mean that. So if your mom's disappointed that you might get a B grade, Tethercat, old man Tethercat, is proud of you. So you can just kind of, you can remove your mom's disappointment. You can put on a little gold sticker from me. There you go, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. I like you. Now, with that said, we are at the top of the hour. Welcome aboard, anyone who just might be tuning in. Welcome aboard, anyone who might come in, stumble in, play along through chat, or even, dare I say it, pop into the stream and join us in voice to become a bailiff. However, until that happens, now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. And the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of resisting arrest.
Tethercat said crime, resisting arrest.
And we're going to take a look at the details of this crime. The demographics are that the offender is a 33-year-old white Mormon male. The victims are the state and the people. Resisting arrest. The offender-victim relationship, generally resisting arrest, is...
Minimi 96 said thank you, I'm having fun here. But no matter what, I'll never win the argument against her.
I suppose. Well, next time that you get into an argument with your mother, you can just say that a mayoral candidate calls this a test case for the system. Seems to work. In the crime of resisting arrest, generally resisting arrest is a victimless crime. The weapon used physical injury was none. Property damage or loss was none. And the excuse given for the crime of resisting arrest, the offender said he had an irresistible urge to resist arrest. Once again, did we find out what even happened? We don't know what the crime is. It's just that the resisting arrest part kind of got tacked on. So this is not part of the arrest. This is just an additional crime. Which makes no sense, but whatever. Let's look at the offender's criminal record. Pardon me. Air went down the wrong air hole. Sorry about that, I had to cough. Boy, you know what I like more than anything is a raspy voice getting raspier. Yay. Maybe I'll just take a quick Buckley's. Buckley's check, everybody. Hurts. Kill me. All right, everyone. Yay! Yay! Where the hell were we? Let's review the known facts. Resisting arrest. There was no monetary loss. Generally, resisting arrest is a victimless crime. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 33-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. And the offender said he had an irresistible urge to resist arrest. Let's look at the offender's criminal record. Now we're going to look at adult prior crime types. Those include burglaries. The prior arrests and convictions. I just want to go back for a moment. Let's look at the details of this crime. The demographics. This guy is 33 years old. This is a 33-year-old man. His adult prior crime types include burglaries, but he has had 10 recorded prior arrests and 9 recorded prior convictions, including burglaries. Well, 33 years old. This man is a doer. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he was somehow inexplicably released on his own recognizance. Okay, maybe he's trying to turn a corner. Trying to do something for the side of good. Wait, so he commits a crime. And then he was released on his own recognizance on the day of resisting arrest. Meaning he did a second crime on the same day that he was released. And then on top of that, he resisted arrest, which is resulting in this case. Okay. Glad we cleared that up. Let's take a look at the offender's reputation. The offender is also known as the mechanic because he throws a wrench into everything. Ching. Let's, I don't think we need to look at juvenile court blotter because it's just going to be a lot more of that same. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. In this crime of resisting arrest, the personal details of this 33-year-old man is that he's divorced, he pops pills, and he is a criminal justice major. If anyone is going to know criminal justice in and out, it's going to be someone who is in and out of criminal justice. The employment history is that the offender is a seasonal worker. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant expresses no remorse. The press was excluded from the courtroom. And now we can take a look at the offender's upbringing or mental history. To be honest, I don't want to look at either of these. Genuinely, I don't want to look at either of these. I feel that resisting arrest being as asinine a crime as it is, for this guy who committed several crimes on the day of and expresses no remorse, yeah, I don't think there's really much reason to take a look at his upbringing or mental history. But with that said, we should review the known facts. Once again, generally resisting arrest is a victimless crime. There was no monetary loss and there was no personal injury. The offender is a 33-year-old man. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he had an irresistible urge to resist arrest. The offender was released on his own recognizance on the day of the crime. He's known as the mechanic. His prior crimes include burglaries, and this 33-year-old man has had 6 recorded prior arrests and 9 recorded prior convictions. The defendant expresses no remorse. The press was excluded from the courtroom. The offender is divorced. He pops pills. He is a criminal justice major, and the offender is a seasonal worker. Pwah. Well, here's the thing, is that we can't really throw this guy in the clink. We can't put him in jail. Or prison, I should say. We can't put him in prison. We can't just throw him away for life. All we're doing is judging on the case of resisting arrest, which is generally a victimless crime. This is going to be a slap on the wrist, this one is. But boy, oh boy, do I really want to put this guy away. I really do. He expressed no remorse. He didn't threaten anyone, but he expressed no remorse. So, I mean, we could do probation on this, but... And I just can't see... I can't see jail time. I can't see prison. It's resisting arrest. Don't do that. But if we set him up... Here's the thing. If we set him up with a probation officer for 7 years, he's just going to be out committing crimes. Is a probation officer for resisting arrest going around saying, have you resisted arrest in the last 7 years? That's not even going to be effective. We got to incarcerate this guy, even if it's only for a little bit. The crime is resisting arrest. I suggest jail. 3 months, 6 months. I mean, again, he's a hazard to society, but we're only judging on the resisting arrest. So I really think that I can't even justify 6 months. I really have to go 3 months of jail time on this. And it kind of kills me because I do want to put him in prison for like 20 years, but 3 months of jail, resisting arrest. I can't even. You know what? I can't even. Yeah, 1 year, 10 months of prison, and yeah, whatever. He's gonna go away for his other crime, so whatever. Whether it's 3 months or 1 year and 10 months, irrelevant. He's going away for his other crime.
Tethercat said Gavels, 1, Judicial IQ, 78.
That was a tough one, because I don't know. I want to say I didn't care. Like, I just don't care about that last case. And it wasn't that I didn't care about the case. I didn't care about the defendant is really what it was. And I like to have cases where I care what happens to the defendant, but in that one, I was just like, let's be rid of him. Well, this is an impartial courtroom as best we can. And remember, everyone, it is how much and what kind of information that is important for our next case. In this case, the crime is carrying a concealed weapon.
Tethercat said crime, carrying a concealed weapon.
Okay then. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 21-year-old white Protestant male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. Society is the victim. The weapon used physical injury. The weapon was plastic explosives. That is definitely a concealed weapon. I just want to rewind back to the demographics. He's 21 years old. And he's carrying C4. What the hell? What the actual hell? The property damage or loss was none. Let's find out why. Let's find out why this 21-year-old was carrying C4. The excuse given for this crime, he said he did it to get even because someone else carried plastic explosives against him. What the hell is even going on here? He did it. He carried C4 to get even. I love this game. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And this guy's 21 years old, so we'll see what his adult prior crime types are. Specific crime type of information is unavailable, which is a red flag that the game could crash. The prior arrests and convictions. None. Clean as... How did this guy get plastic explosives? The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he has no detainers. None of this makes sense. The offender's reputation is that he's a religious fanatic. Let's go back to the details of the crime, see the demographics. The offender is a 21-year-old Protestant male, and the offender is a religious fanatic. Great. Let's look at the pre-sentence report. I can't help but think that this religious fanatic doing something to get even is carrying around C4. I don't like it. I don't like him. He's 21 years old. Let's look at the... I feel that both offender's upbringing, because he's 21, and mental history, because I think he's been brainwashed, are going to come into play. But let's take a look at his personal details. This 21-year-old Protestant male is unwed. He's addicted to caffeine, and he is a high school graduate because he's a young pup. The employment history is that he's a private investigator. I guess we found out how he got access to plastic explosives. The offender is a private investigator. The courtroom prosecution details. I'm having an aneurysm. The courtroom prosecution details. The probation officer recommends leniency. Didn't I fire you? Didn't I could have swore I stamped your or are you the new guy? And I gotta fire you too. The probation officer recommends leniency. The media blasts soft judges. Soft, like plastique. Okay, we're gonna look at the offender's upbringing and mental history because of reasons I just stated. The offender's upbringing, 21-year-old man. The offender's parents are separated and the offender was raised in suburbia. Of course he was. The mental history for this 21-year-old religious fanatic with plastique. The offender is schizophrenic. He has periods of confusion. You think? You think? Does he think he's a private investigator? Does he think he's Rambo? What is this narrative? Let's review the known facts via the clipboard of justice and see if we can wrap our heads around this. The crime is carrying a concealed weapon. There was no monetary loss. Society is the victim. The weapon was plastic explosives. The offender is a 21-year-old white Protestant male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he did it to get even. The offender has no detainers. The offender is a religious fanatic. Although specific crime type of information is unavailable, the defendant has had no recorded prior arrests or convictions. The probation officer recommends leniency. The media blasts soft judges. The offender's parents are separated and the offender was raised in suburbia. The offender is schizophrenic and has periods of confusion. The offender is unwed, is addicted to caffeine, is a high school graduate, and the offender is a private investigator. All right, everyone. I don't know. I'm willing to go with the probation officer for lenient. No, I'm willing to fire the probation officer yet again. The crime is carrying a concealed weapon. Normally, maybe it's a baseball bat. Maybe it's a switchblade. Usually it's something asinine. Something tepid. In this case, the crime of carrying a concealed weapon was plastic explosives, which presumably he got through his job as a private investigator, of which sometimes he is schizophrenic and confused. He is a religious fanatic at a very young age who has never done anything in his life. So, is rehabilitation an option? Yes. That would warrant probation. Is carrying a concealed weapon an incarceration level crime? Yes. Is it a federal crime? I don't think it is. Is prison the answer? I don't think it is. But is it plastic explosives carried around by a religious fanatic? Yeah. I would do jail, but I can't. Prison? Five years of prison. If he is as good as he appears to be, he will get out on time.
Minimi 96 said, remember, you're good cop and I'm bad cop. I say 10 years jail, and 'cause he's an investigator and his occupation is on the line and he's mentally problematic.
Absolutely. And you actually brought up a point I hadn't even considered, Mini-Me. This is why you're the best jury foreman ever. 5 years prison because a religious fanatic carrying around concealed plastic explosives is just a mix of trouble. And if he's in good behavior, he can get out early. But what jury foreman Mini-Me just reminded me is that he's a private investigator. He knows the law. He should be held to a higher accountable standard because he knows the law. So I'm willing to bump that up to at least 7 years of prison. And that's more in line with your 10 years of jail. If he's as good as he is, he will get out for good behavior. Boom. I said boom. It's a case of plastic explosive. Perhaps boom wasn't the correct answer. 10 months of jail.
Minimi 96 said that's fair.
10 months, 28 days of jail. That's 1 year of jail. The judge ordered 1 year of jail. I say 7 years of prison. You say 10 years of jail, but you're cool with 7 years of prison. 1 year of jail. Judge, what are you doing?
Tethercat said gavels, 1, judicial IQ, 73.
This game, I love this game. I love this game so much. This game is so addictive. It's so great. I hate this game, and I love this game. This is the greatest game of all time. And I hate it so much. All right, everyone. Now it's time for our next case.
Minimi 96 said I will third party and start a rebellion.
I sign up to your newsletter. And remember, we can take things as far as we can. We just can't strap C4 to our chests and run in under a religious fervor. Oh no, we're only getting a year of jail. Oh no, slap on the wrist. What the hell? What the ever-living hell? All right, everyone, now it's time for our next case. Remember. Oh, you know what? I see sirens. Yeah, there go some sirens on my busy street. Just saw down the window a bunch of sirens going by. So maybe they're after this guy with the with the 1 year of probation on him. Everyone, now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Ooh, interesting. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of robbery, murder.
Tethercat said crime, robbery/murder.
And on this one, we are not going to be issuing... Sorry, what's that, Bailiff Stormy?
Minimi 96 said oh no, is it the Pentagon?
Yes, I think the Pentagon is outside the window. And yes, 28 years, Bailiff Stormy. That's... Hey, do you want to just toss that in right now? Reach a decision, 28 years of prison? You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. We have an opening bid without seeing a single thing about the case of 28 years prison. Symmetrical Duck Award.
Yeah.
Hello, folks. You know I've been picking and trying to pick a bandit for 40 years or more. I used to just play the imitations, but now I'm going to give you a list of variations of Casey Jones.
Tethercat said symmetrical duck awards, 4.
Quickest case ever.
quickest case ever. Bailiff Stormy, where the hell did you even come from? You just kind of stormed in. Just laid down the law. The hell?
I'm listening.
Oh, I know you're listening. Man, it was like you kicked in the door and just said, boom, baby. 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 gavels. You ever consider a career on the bench? You'd be the fastest court judge ever. You're like, court's now in session. You, 1 year prison. You, 3 months probation. You, 28 years prison. Court's adjourned. Bam! You'd be out and you'd be watching your daytime soaps before anyone even knew what happened.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. And then someone would inevitably say, hey, you're being paid by the hour, and you'd feel really bad.
Tethercat said gavels, 9, judicial IQ, 80.
You got a judicial IQ of 80.
Minimi 96 said winging it, is the best option.
Oh, lordy. Bailiff Stormy, 4th symmetrical duck. That's how you do it. You don't listen to the case. You want a symmetrical duck award? Don't listen to the case. What the case know anyway? God. Congratulations, Bailiff Stormy.
Thank you. I'm here all night.
I know. Let's do a hydration check. And we'll hit the next case.
Tethercat said hydration check.
Bailiff Stormy. Jeez Louise. For those of you tuning in, Bailiff Stormy and I have known each other for a long time. And this is totally on brand for Bailiff Stormy. This is exactly what she does. This is why I love her. This is why she's the funniest person. Bailiff Stormy. All right, now it's time for your next case. By the way, you can still be on break or you can still join in whenever you so choose. I'm considering you on break until you formally announce that you're back in.
I can be color commentary.
I know. But if it's anything like that last case, we're in trouble. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. I'm still laughing. The defendant is to be sentenced for crime of burglary of a business.
We gotta read this one.
Tethercat said crime, burglary of a business.
Oh, man. God, worst day ever. Look how angry the blue judge is. The green judge, he's so angry because he has to read the case. That's the face of a man who's pissed off. All right. Actually, I think that's his normal average face, and he's just crunching a log. Okay, everyone. Details of the crime. The crime is burglary of a business. Thanks for saying crunching a log there, Translation Chan. The demographics. The offender is a 30-year-old white Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender figured that a few victims were inevitable. The weapon used physical injury was none, and the property damage or loss was $800. Burglary of a business for $800. And the excuse given for this crime by this 30-year-old man is that he said the devil made him do it. $800. Burglary of a business. The devil made him do it. And if the devil made him do it, what's his religion? He's Catholic. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to take a look at adult prior crime types. Those include misdemeanors. His prior arrests and convictions are 4 recorded prior arrests and 2 recorded prior convictions. Some of those being misdemeanors. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he's wanted for child support. Well, burglary of a business for $800. The offender's reputation is that he's a troublemaker. Okay, now let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And the personal details, I think he's 30 years old. I keep slipping my mind on that. The personal details of this man are that he is recently divorced. He drinks moderately, and he has a high school equivalence diploma. His employment history is that he has no job skills. Well, I don't know. He's got some job skills. He has transferable skills. He could work in a casino. He has skills handling money. He knows what to look for if theft occurs. He has transferable skills. The courtroom prosecution details evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. A TV reporter, predicts that you, the player, will imprison the defendant. Will we? Tune in and find out. See, I like this one here. This one says that evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. I like the word evidence because you can't go against that. Sometimes you see the defendant said he was led, or the defendant claims he was led, or whatever. This one here, evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. Good to know. And with that said, offender's upbringing and offender's mental history. The case is burglary of a business. He said the devil made him do it, but it was only for $800. Offender's upbringing, I don't think would factor in. Would the offender's mental history factor in? Well, Bailiff Stormy has on previous occasions said that if the devil made him do it, there's an exploration to be had. Or no, that was Bailiff Robin, I think he said that. But anyways, regardless, that's a good point. Let's take a look at the mental history. The offender is a manic depressive and a born comedian. Oh, I'm sure he'll be laughing with whatever sentencing we give this guy. Let's review the known facts via the clipboard of justice. In the case of burglary of a business, the property damage or loss was $800. The offender figured that a few victims were inevitable. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 30-year-old Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said the devil made him do it. The offender is wanted for child support. The offender is a troublemaker. Prior crimes include misdemeanors, and the defendant has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 2 recorded prior convictions. Evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. A TV reporter predicts that you, the player, will imprison the defendant. The offender is a manic depressive and a born comedian. The offender is recently divorced, drinks moderately, has a high school equivalence diploma, and the offender has no job skills. And that's the case of burglary of a business. Well. The number one is rehabilitation a factor. Well, I mean, he said the devil made him do it. And he robbed a business for $800. I do think that rehabilitation is available. I do think that this guy can be rehabilitated and probation is an option. However, robbery, like burglary of a business, I think that's jail. If you saw someone smash their way into a jewelry store, then you'd think, I hope that guy goes to jail. Or I think that guy should go to prison. And you wouldn't be wrong. You don't think, boy, that guy sure could use 4 months of probation. So I think that jail, because we don't know what the business was, and it was only $800. I think jail. If it was $1.6 million, he'd be going to prison.
Minimi96 said he's delusional, he did it for himself.
He did it for himself. Why does Radiohead pop in my head once you say that? Yeah, he is delusional. I think that incarcerating him will definitely allow him to access resources and perhaps even gain that rehabilitation, but it won't happen on his own, and it won't happen external to the system. For jail, burglary of a business, $800. I'm gonna say a year of jail. I'm gonna say a year of jail. $800 burglary of a business. If he gets, actually, I don't know that he can get out for good behavior on a jail sentence. Maybe I'll just do 8 months. No, it's $800. I'm sure that the business owner is not pleased with any of this, and to give a lesser sentence would be an insult to the business owner. I think that a jail sentence of 1 year. That's what I'm going with. And yeah, for anyone watching, for anyone who wants to contribute, I think you're gonna have to put it on the back of a napkin, and we'll see how we do. Let's take a look. Prison, 2.5 years, 2 years, 5 months of prison. Well, I was definitely a little light-handed on that one, but I still feel justified with my answer. Let's see how we did. You received only 4 gavels. You might be ready to handle traffic court. Try some more cases to improve your score.
Tethercat said gavels, 4, judicial IQ, 80.
Pardon me while I yawn there. And, yeah, we're doing all right. I might take another swig of Buckley's. By the way, I'm on the low threshold of my bottle of Buckley's. I maybe have 2 swigs left in it. So I don't think that the bottle of Buckley's is going to last me through the remainder of this evening. But I am. And you and I and all of us together are going to plow through more of these cases. I'm going to take some Buckley's, and then we're on to our next case.
Hey, Mini-Me. I have a question. Would you like to hear Tethercat read it out loud a book or short stories? And if so, what?
You're in the hot seat there, jury foreman Mini-Me.
I keep telling him he needs to read a...
Minimi 96 said sure.
Do something in the public domain like Winnie the Pooh.
Minimi 96 said anything is fine.
Wow. Well, thank the both of you for the vote of confidence on that one. I've always wanted to do an audio stream, and I've always wanted to do a read-along. When I asked, prior to this conversation, this would have been about a year, perhaps a year and a half ago, when I asked, would anyone be up for me doing an audio book? The response I got, somewhat, and I'm gonna phrase this somewhat snarkily, was that I should read Animal Farm. And or was it 1984? One or the other. I was supposed to read one or the other, and I said I would, but I would have to read one or the other, meaning I would have to read both as a combo. So those were the first 2 suggestions that I read an audiobook aloud. With that said, I can easily toss Winnie the Pooh onto that list, and perhaps I might even tackle Winnie the Pooh beforehand. Because let's face it, Animal Farm isn't exactly a light read, nor is 1984. But Winnie the Pooh, I'm pretty sure that's a light read. So
Minimi 96 said I want to hear one of your writings.
One of my stories? My. Now that's a prospect. That's a prospect and a half, isn't it?
I wouldn't mind.
My. If anyone knows my stories, it'd be me. Look at me clicking and racing over to my folders to see if I have anything at the ready. Let me just see here. Head into my Dropbox where I do all my writing, my stories. Oh, I got a lot of stories. Woof. Got a lot of stories. I would have to think long and hard on that one, kids. But a Tethercat original, eh? Well, that is a juicy prospect. I could do that.
That's even better.
I don't know that it's better. You're putting a lot of faith in my writing, but perhaps I would do.
I like your writing.
Well, thank you very much. And by the way, Bailiff Stormy has read my writing, so that's a genuine compliment. I think I'd go for, if I had to, Winnie the Pooh, followed by one of my stories, followed by the George Orwell Animal Farm / 1984 combo. Yeah. Anyway, perhaps we are coming into the Christmas season, and perhaps I'll look and see what I have on hand, and we'll do an audio stream within the next 4 weeks or 5 weeks, because we are coming into that holiday season. And I can set up a stream where I have a nice fireplace crackling, and I can have Tethercat sitting in a chair with a mug of hot chocolate. Have some Yule music and a Yule log. Yeah, you know what? You guys have sold me on this prospect. Thank you very much.
Minimi96 said it could be fanfiction, as it's from you, since you said you did a lot of writing, so yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if I did a fan fiction? It was a dark and stormy night. Because she was there, I was looking at there's the fan fiction, and then I just relate it right into a Crime and Punishment tale. All right, everyone. With that said, excellent suggestions, fantastic banter. Is anyone up for the next case, or would you like to continue this conversation? I can play to the audience, so. What say you, Bailiff Stormy? Next case, or continue this conversation a little?
I'd like to continue the conversation.
All right, that's fair. I don't normally do this, especially when I'm streaming, because I always feel that the content is the game. But you know what? It does bring up a good point that I almost never just do Zatsudan conversations. So yeah, we can continue this. I have a lot of resources. I have a lot of assets that I can add into a potential setup of a reading stream. So I don't think it would be too difficult to challenge, all things considered. I think
Would you be willing to read a shortened version of, like, Princess Bride?
Well, if you're talking like a Cole's Notes or a Cliff's Notes version, like something that a grade 10 would read because they're too lazy to read.
No. More of it than that.
Because if I were to read The Princess Bride, and I have read it, and it is a wonderful book. It is so good.
Yes, it is.
The movie is good, but the book is good. If I were to read The Princess Bride, I would literally read The Princess Bride.
The book is better than the movie.
And that's saying something, because the movie is fantastic. Yeah, we can put Princess Bride on that list of items. Yeah, no problem with that. That'd be fun.
That might have to be more than one movie.
Oh, I know. But
like parts.
Yeah. But the question isn't what should I read. The question is, wouldn't you guys get bored of hearing me trying to read or do all the characters? I mean,
Oh,
you think I could pull it off, do you?
I think you could.
Interesting. Would I have to load up the Twitch integrated throwing system, aka TITS? That's the name of the program, by the way, is TITS. Do you think I would have to throw in the Twitch integrated throwing system so that chat could throw items and smack me around while I read?
It depends on what you're reading.
Okay. Fair enough. So if it was a lamentatious Robbie Burns poem about death and misery, perhaps the "Let's throw ducks and squeaky toys at Tethercat" might be appropriate.
Yes.
What about Shakespeare? I was going to say Hamlet, but what about Shakespeare? I would love to read some of the Shakespearean works that are out there. I've always been a fan of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is not Shakespeare, but it's Shakespeare adjacent. But once again, could I pull off the voices? Could I actually execute the gravitas that is required and necessary? I guess we'd find out. It'd be sink or swim. It's not like I could just end the stream.
Minimi96 said, I don't mind, you have great voice acting skills. And it'd be fun to hear others as well if you got the chance to invite them.
Now that, you're absolutely, well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate the great voice acting skills compliment. Mini-Me was around when I was playing one of the video games, King of Queens, and I provided all the voices. And for Webbed, the Jumping Spider Fairy Princess game, where I also provided a lot of the voice acting. Yay! Yay! External to the yays, I was also providing the voices of many of the other NPC characters.
Yeah, I know that the yays just spark joy.
Yeah, they kind of do. They kind of do. And you don't get a lot of yays when we're playing Crime and Punishment, do you?
Only with the duck.
Only with the ducks. Be fun to hear others as well if you got the chance to invite them in. Bailiff Stormy, that includes you. It doesn't mean you, but it does include you. If I were to do a reading of a multi-character novel, would you actually join in and contribute on any of the parts?
I think I'd love to.
Aw, that's sweet. Now, if we're talking about stage plays, when I was in grade 2, we did a reproduction of Charlie Brown, and I was such a bad actor that my teacher gave me the role of tree number 2, and I had to just stand there wearing a cardboard tree and not talking or moving, except for dance numbers. Okay, first off, that there is a bold-faced lie. That did not happen, and I just fabricated that. Never have I ever been a tree number 2 in a stage play. But you get my point, is that if Bailiff Stormy, if you were to join in on any of the readings, would you want the most minimal non-reading part, or would you actually like to have a bit greater part?
I want to be, Miracle Max. I want to be his wife.
You wanna play the role of Miracle Max's wife from Princess Bride.
Yes.
Jury Foreman, Mini-Me, have you seen Princess Bride or even read the book for Princess Bride? Most likely, have you seen Princess Bride? It's a wonderful movie, but it is a little before the time of most of the younger people in my chat. It's a classic. All of us older generation, all of us gray hair old types, we love that movie.
With it being Christmas, you could read the The Christmas Carol.
I could do Dickens. I've never read it. I heard something interesting the other day, which is that...
Minimi96 said, I think I have seen the movie.
Oh, that's good. That's excellent. Then you wouldn't be thrown for a loop there, Mini-Me. I heard somewhere that of all the stage or film or TV adaptations of A Christmas Story by Charles Dickens, the one which includes the most direct
Minimi96 said, I'm
quotes-
more eccentric watching stuff people don't know about.
Wow, then that's why you're on this stream, is it? Thank you for
The
your
Muppet.
patronage. Yes, the Muppet Christmas Carol is the most accurate to the Charles Dickens A Christmas Carol tale for including direct lines from the from the story. So I didn't know that, and it makes me want to
Light
go
the
back.
lamp, not the rat.
What's that?
Light the lamp, not the rat. Light the lamp, not the rat.
See, that's the thing is I don't know. I haven't seen the Muppet Christmas Carol or read the book in decades, not since my youth. So I would have to watch the Muppet Christmas Carol as a refresher and then come back and read the story instead of just reading the story and then reading the story aloud. And then I would wonder why there's no Muppets in this story.
Where's the rat was supposed to light?
But no, that's an interesting scenario you've tossed my way. Reading aloud a storybook. What? Yeah. I suppose there's a question to be made of if I could read aloud whatever story I wanted to read, what story would I read? Because so far I've had George Orwell, A.A. Milne, Charles Dickens.
Oh, what would you want to read?
Yeah. That seems to be a good question. I mean, my personal favorite authors, the authors I love and love to death, are Neil Stevenson and William Gibson, who write heavy, hard science fiction in the cyberpunk genre. But I also love Peter S. Beagle, who wrote The Last Unicorn.
Yes.
It might be interesting to read The Last Unicorn.
I will help with that.
You might have to. There's a large female-led cast in the film. It's a good 50-50 split, actually. Yeah. You know what I would like to read? Here's an odd one. You know what I would like to read? There's a video game that came out, Final Fantasy Tactics. One of my favorite video games. But it's heavy on the dialogue. When you're not fighting monsters, it's heavy on the dialogue. And the story revolves around the 500-year Lion War, where a famed king/general dies, and his 3 sons are in line for the crown. One of those sons takes off, just gets the hell out of Dodge. He's a little bit of the bastard son, and he takes off and he goes rogue and he does his own thing. And that's the character that you play in the video game. But the other 2 brothers, the remaining brothers, are fierce princes, and they are willing to fight for the crown. And a war happens. So that's the top level of this tale. And the underlying part is that there's, because it's a Final Fantasy game, there's a plot to resurrect an ancient magic. So that's the top level, that's the bottom level, that's the story in a nutshell. And I acquired the script. So that'd be an interesting one to read, would be the tale of the Lion War. And it's completely set up to be a stage play. Like, when I was I played the video game, the video game's the video game, but when I was reading the script, in my head, everything lined up like a stage play. So I don't think it would be that far of a stretch to read it aloud. at all. Excellent. Great suggestions. Yeah, we've already asked Mini-Me, who said that anything would be fine. And the more eccentric, the better. So, I think we've nailed a couple of those.
You could write a Christmas story.
Nope.
Oh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, I could. But
You wrote a Halloween one.
I did write a Halloween one, and it's one of my favorites. I could write a Christmas story, but the concession is that I'm an atheist, so it would not be your traditional Christmas story dealing with religious themes. It would most likely, if I were to write a Christmas story, deal with more of the familial / social themes which arise at the Christmas area. But that said, I have actually written a Christmas story once, but that's another tale for another day. That's something that is buried. Actually, on that note, I've actually written 2 Christmas stories. Okay. Yeah. I kind of like the suggestion of Winnie the Pooh, one of my stories, the reading of George Orwell, because I do owe people for that one. If I'm going to be doing this, I gotta hit up the Orwells. And then, yeah, Charles Dickens and...
Minimi96 said I will await for any of your originals. Even if you just came up with one.
Yeah, I'll really look into one of my originals. I'll look into that and I'll read it aloud. I think that's a good compromise. Sure. Let me knock off Winnie the Pooh as an entry level into reading aloud stories on a stream. And once I'm done that, I'll read aloud one of my own originals. And once I'm done that, I'll read aloud something else, something to continue with the suggestions. Okay.
Well, Winnie the Pooh is short stories.
What's that? It is?
Winnie the Pooh is short stories.
Well, I don't know if they're short stories. Again, I haven't read it, but I do know that they're children's stories, and that makes them insanely easy to read. If a 4-year-old is reading it, I'm pretty sure I can make good work of it. So yeah. Yeah. Winnie the Pooh. All right. Maybe I'll set something up for the next couple of days, the next week or two. Maybe I'll set something up. I know I actually have one day that I booked off of work for non-medical reasons, meaning it's an open day. So perhaps that might be a day that I could look into it. Huh. The other thing is I'd have to go and acquire a copy of Winnie the Pooh. Actually, no. It's public domain.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's public domain.
So,
download a copy.
So I have Caliber, which is an e-reader that's computer-based. And so if I were to pull up the story
Minimi96 said
screen,
question, any generic stories you like to read?
Any generic stories? See, I've already said the type of author and the type of genre. I like reading cyberpunk and fantasy. Any generic stories I like to read? Yeah.
There's one author, I think his name is Greg Bear.
I've read Greg Bear. Greg Bear is a science fiction author and has written one of my favorite stories.
He did a short story in where they collect different stories all together and publish it?
Yep. Anthologies. Yep.
Yes, thank you. The A word.
Well, he wrote one of my favorite stories, and I'm not going to spoil what that is, but it's a short
Is it
story.
Blood music?
What's that?
Blood music?
Oh, it might be, it might not be. I have no idea. I'll tell you that that title there does not correlate to any of the central themes of the story, so I doubt it. But since I can't remember the title of the story and just what the plot is, I'm not going to rule out that it could be called Blood Music. But it is a short story, the one I'm thinking of. I think it's only like 6 or 7 pages.
See that? That would be something quick, easy.
Yeah, it would. But I think if I were doing an audio stream, I definitely want it to be a little bit longer. I mean, let's face it. When I was playing web fishing the other day, and Jury Foreman Mini-Me was with me, and even though I was distracted, I only got through a couple of fishing tales, just talking about fishing. So I think that a short story would still last me a little bit of a long time. I think Winnie the Pooh would be great for a single stream. But anything longer or more dense would probably be a multiple stream issue. I think it could be done. Yeah. Any generic stories I like to read? I had one on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, isekai. The stories that I really, really enjoy are the crazy Japanese isekai novels where someone gets transported to another world, has crazy ass magic, and does things. I like those stories, but those are long running series. Some of those are just novels that are just endless. So I don't think I'd read that on stream, although the isekai genre is my current favorite fluff popcorn type of story to read. Yeah.
Minimi 96 said episode wise, it's at least 10 minutes for a short story.
Really? Really? Well, at least 10 minutes for a short story, I would agree with. Oh. Bailiff Stormy just popped out. I think she'll pop back in a minute. Yeah, 10 minutes for a short story. And what I'm thinking, if I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be talking for about an hour or two. So if I'm doing this, then I'm looking at 1 hour, which could be a couple of short stories, or, if I'm doing 2 hours, that's almost the first half of a very short novel. What I'm thinking of, though, is June Kawamori. She read a vampire novel, and I think it took her 3 streams. So that would be the benchmark. I would look at June Kawamori's vampire streams, and I would gauge how my reading level is based on those. If I could find out, I think the book she read was called Carmela or something. I can't remember. If I can find out how many words that book is, and then I can compare how many words whatever book I pick up is, then I'll have a good baseline of how long episodes are. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good plan. All in all, I think everything about that's a good plan. I think I won't even say interested. I think I'm up for that task. Because, and here's the other thing. I was one of the potential bailiffs that I was describing and potentially putting as a kangaroo on tonight's stream has become aware of my Tethercat presence and voice. And it was only this morning. It was only just a little over 12 hours ago when that individual contacted me and gave me a very large compliment over my voice, stating, and this is the quote.
Minimi96 said, speaking of vampire stories, there was one called Let Me In, I think, and there's a movie of it, which is amazing.
Huh. I think I've heard of Let Me In, but I've never heard of the story Let Me In. So I'll take a look and see if there's a story. And once again, I'll do a comparison, a word comparison, to see if that's something that can be done. Something that's potential. That sounds like something more along the lines of a Halloween stream, but welcome back, Bailiff Stormy. And what I was just mentioning was that I was in a conversation with the previous potential bailiff, which could have been coming around. And that individual, that potential kangaroo bailiff, said this morning, and I quote, I could read the instructions on a roll of toilet paper and it would be fascinating. That's what that individual had verbally said to my ears this morning. So I'm definitely incredibly appreciative of the compliments for my voice. And I think that doing a read along or a read aloud or an audiobook stream would be incredibly fun. So that's the continuation of the thought that I was having just prior to Bailiff Stormy's re-entry. Now, we're past the top of the hour. This conversation has taken us past the top of the hour. Typically, it's my bedtime at the top of the hour where it's 10 o'clock. I still want to get through a few more cases. I'm still up and raring to game a little bit more. As I stated earlier, I do have a bit of an early morning, but my morning isn't any earlier than what it normally is. So then the question just becomes, for both Jury Foreman Mini as well as Bailiff Stormy, are either of you up for more cases? I think if the two of you bow out on cases, then maybe we'll cut the stream and I can rest my throat and even look at preparing an audio stream for audio reading. But if you guys are in for more cases, I would love to do more cases. So I leave it to the both of you. What's your call on playing a little bit more or cutting out early?
I think I need to cut out early.
So be it.
Minimi96 said, we can stop here if you want. I don't mind.
Then, that being said, I want to thank both of you, not only for hanging out and not only for participating, but just for the amazing suggestions. I don't often have these conversations. So, once again, thank you both for being a part of this. And a further extension goes to anyone watching along, anyone who is sitting in the chat, anyone who's going to be watching this later on in the VOD. I want to thank all of you for joining in and participating. A big shout out goes to Bailiff Robin, who showed up in the early days before he had to go bouldering, of which all of us said that we were also, in some way, manner, shape, or form, also going to be bouldering. Look at Translation Chan having an aneurysm.
Minimi96 said, it was great being here with you always. Have a good night and much love.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining in and participating, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. That's why you're called Jury Foreman Mini-Me. Bailiff Stormy, is there anything that you'd like to say as a farewell? Any parting words for the evening?
Good night, everyone.
And there you have
Sweet
it.
dreams.
Good night, everyone. Sweet dreams. And as always, thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.
Tethercat said thanks for watching. Tethercat said carrot_carrot.